Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We are your co-hosts. I'm Brian.
And I'm Robin Joy.
And this is Coach's Corner.
Hey, everybody. And hey, Brian.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
Loving that hoodie you're wearing there.
Oh.
Glad you dressed for the occasion. You used to be like a never would wear a hoodie kind of guy. What's going on?
I don't know. What has happened is I'm not sure I'm a fan of it, quite honestly, but my body temp seems lower as I'm getting older. And I'm like, I need a sweater.
Oh, it's about getting old.
Well,
older. Yeah, that's what you meant, right?
And I brought this up to my daughter-in-law, and she's like, yeah, that's a clear sign of loss of muscle mass. I'm like, shut your mouth. Yeah.
That girl calls a spade when she sees one.
Yeah. So back to the gym I go. Now I can actually, do that. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Okay, so you got something for us today. How's your coaching been going this week?
Coaching has been going really well. I've had multiple conversations kind of around the topic that I have for you today, but I've been thinking about time travel a lot lately.
Time travel?
Yeah.
I mean, I love a good sci-fi, but what does that have to do?
Well, not the DeLorean way, right? Like more in just the humankind.
That is one of your favorite movies.
Although it is one of my favorite movies, yes. Between Back to the Future and Karate Kid, man.
Yeah, that pretty much sums Brian
Those
up.
are my movies right there.
Those are your movies.
Well, that and Rambo, right?
We really know when you were
that's right.
a teenager,
Back in the
1900s, yes.
Anyway, but that the obsession that we have as humans with essentially buying back time.
Yeah.
The buyback time situation is something that we're still in today, right? But the way that it's happened in the past, now I'm starting to see it actually in the future or now. Mm-hmm. And I realize that it really explains everything that's happening in the arbitrage world today.
In the arbitrage world?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sure you're going to explain that. But I got to say, we do live in an amazing time.
We do, right?
Amazing time. I keep noticing this every day.
I feel that way, like just the weekend that we had kind of doing the things that we're doing right now are like...
A kicking weekend. We got a lot done.
5 years ago, we would not have been able to do this.
It would have taken us weeks and weeks and weeks to do what we accomplished in the last 2 days.
Last year, we weren't able to do it.
No.
Right? And part of that was on us, but part of it was also on the what was available.
Part of it was that we had not kept up with what was available to us.
I'll say exciting things coming from the Olsons too. This is going to be like next level stuff, right?
The Olsons always think they're exciting things from the Olsons, but
we are our own biggest fans, if we're being honest, right? Yeah. But anyway, that amazing time thing is something that has been said throughout human history.
Yeah.
I'm sure they said it about the wheel. They're like, oh my gosh, this changed my life.
We live in an amazing time.
Yeah. Yeah. They said it even about the Pony Express. And the way we look back on the Pony Express is like, wow, we used to deliver. They said it about cars. They said it about telephones, computers.
I can't even imagine. Like my grandfather was born in 1910, and we used to talk to him about, the things that think about the things that he saw.
Oh, yeah.
He grew up riding a horse. He didn't have a car.
Right.
He grew up, there was no telephone when he was growing up. There was no,
Well, they existed, but but
it wasn't in every
household.
Every household.
Yeah,
sure.
The way it is today.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't abundant. It wasn't available abundantly like it is today.
Exactly.
Right? Well, then,
really the telephone until, he had teenage kids before it was abundant in every household.
Seriously?
Yeah. Wow. His kids were born in the 40s.
Well, so was my dad, born in the 40s, but they had telephones.
Yeah, my grandfather's kids would be my parents.
Yeah.
They had telephones just coming out.
Yeah.
Just getting into the households.
Yeah.
They had to run the lines. I mean, maybe if you lived in a big city.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandpa lived out in the country.
So, well, that makes sense. Yes. Yeah. You are a country bumpkin. Anyway, so let's go. Car, telephone, computers. Okay, computers, boom.
Oh, I remember that.
They used to take up these huge rooms, and then all of a sudden, personal computers, what I mean.
I remember personal computers. You actually were teaching college at the time.
Uh-huh.
Like you were an adult with a degree before we had a personal computer.
Yeah.
But people didn't have one. Our friends didn't have one.
Well,
we had one because you had to build one in your class.
Well, I do remember when I was late teen buying my very first 386 computer from Montgomery Wards.
Okay.
Right? Or Montgomery
Okay.
Ward.
For me, it was a Commodore.
Actually, I did have that. I had a VIC 20.
I had a Commodore 60. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you guys get the idea, right?
Well, then then the internet.
Ooh, remember the dial-up? Oh, I can hear that sound now. And getting flipped off all the time.
Flipped off?
Flipped off. That means several different things. Getting kicked off.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Like
the brick we used to carry around.
We're always watching if we're watching a show that's back in the 60s, we're like, just use your cell phone.
Use your cell phone. Tell somebody where you are. Don't go in that closet.
And today we are saying it about AI. That's what we were just saying a minute ago.
Yeah.
Like, the things we're doing today are amazing with AI.
How many times I answer, we have conversations going, well, let's ask AI about that because I'm not sure.
So every generation has been factually correct.
Yeah.
Right? Like they did experience living in an amazing time.
And they also experienced the buildup of these things that were coming along, telephones. There were lots of telephones, but they had to dig the lines. They had to make them better than they were. Even when we were growing up, there wasn't like call waiting and stuff. We remember that coming out.
Oh yeah, call waiting. That was a feat. That was a new feat.
Oh, that was cool. That was cool.
I mean, you used to just call somebody and the line would be busy.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get through and you're like, and you couldn't text
call later. Yeah.
You couldn't send them an email.
Yeah.
There was none of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I'm going to give you the convincing thing up front, but we'll come back to it, okay?
Okay.
The revelation.
Foreshadow what we're going to find out.
That's what they were actually watching with these advancements was the constraint was actually disappearing, okay? It wasn't that.
Okay.
It was the disappearing constraints that allowed these other things to happen.
Okay.
Right? The amazing times.
That makes sense. So we were actually watching the constraints disappear.
That's right.
From how communication was happening in this case. Yeah. Okay.
Well, here's just a few more historical examples because, I just like to paint the picture, make sure we're all on the same page from a time standpoint, right? Let's talk about when Columbus sailed to the New World.
The ocean blue in 1942 or 1492.
Yeah. Dyslexia, anyone?
That was a long time ago.
It took 61 days, right? And that was because he had good wind. That
could be taken many ways too. The phrases that we say.
Yeah, right. But today that's a 7-hour trip, right, on an airplane.
Compared to 61 days. Okay, I see the difference.
Actually, you're as an author, you've written some books. I know they're not public yet, but about the Oregon Trail, about the times during the Oregon Trail that Oregon Trail existed when they were going from Independence, Missouri to Oregon City or something like that.
Uh-huh.
That would be a 4 to 6 month journey.
Absolutely. At least.
And you put your life on the line.
Yes.
Same thing on Columbus's boats. Like
you may or not.
Journeys.
Usually, the people who started, there weren't as many people who got there, and you definitely didn't have all your possessions by the time you got there.
Everyone thought they were going to be able to take more than they could, right? Today, that's basically a 2-day trip, right? If you wanted to go from between those two places, or a 2.5-hour flight.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this: 6 months of time.
Yeah.
Compressed to 2.5 hours. But so when I talk about time travel, this is what I mean. Like, I can get so much more done. I can live a much fuller, I don't know, I maybe argue that I can live a fuller life, but I'm sure they felt that they were living a full life back then too, Yeah. So I don't want to take anything away from that, but.
Right. But yeah, I can do so many more things in so much shorter time.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, I can get more done if, from a productivity standpoint, I can have more experiences in my lifetime.
So what I'm hearing is that the constraints don't disappear. They just kind of get wider. They migrate. They move out.
It's different, right?
They move to a different place in the process.
Yeah. So the Atlantic crossing that, now is 7 hours, ironically, the speed of jet travel has not really improved from that first jet crossing of the Atlantic.
So the jet's not going faster.
Jet's not going faster
significantly. Of course it is.
Yeah, not significantly faster, but the constraint would, from surviving the voyage or surviving the, Oregon Trail, move. from, like, let's take the transatlantic situation. Surviving the voyage is not the challenge anymore. Today, airport security is the challenge.
Yeah.
Right? The ground logistics are the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a whole day to get from one place to the other. The flight time may only be 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
But the time on the ground is another 2 or 3 hours on each end. So door to door, it may not be a whole lot shorter.
So this basically the industry, the airline industry, stopped optimizing for speed. If you think, do you remember the Concorde?
Yes.
The Concorde was this the transatlantic plane that could take some time off, but really, I'm not sure the trip really took that much less time, even though the plane may have been going up, a bit faster.
Yeah, it was a fast plane.
Because the constraint moved, right?
Yeah.
The constraint now became the ground logistics.
Okay.
So anyway.
So how does that apply to...
Well, we'll get there.
Okay.
I got a little more premise building to do here. Okay.
Keep building the premise. We're following you, Brian. Go ahead. We'll wait.
I keep coming back to the jets, like how the jets haven't really gotten meaningfully faster since 1959 when that first jet, thing went across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
That Boeing, I think it was a 707, was basically as fast as we fly today.
I remember Boeing 747. It was like this huge, great thing. It seemed like a big change in airline. We work with some people who work for Boeing, so we should ask them about it. Anyway.
Right. So that first jet was basically the same as the flight at same speed, basically, that we fly today. Why? And it's because the constraint moved. Once you could cross the Atlantic in 7 hours instead of 61 days, right? The new bottleneck became the ground logistics.
Yeah.
I guess I'm repeating myself.
So getting through security now. Getting to the airport early enough that they can get your baggage.
Waiting for your baggage.
Waiting for your baggage on the other end. Yeah, these are all things that take up the time. Now, all of that put together is way more than the time you spent in the flight, usually.
So, yeah, you're right. It is more than you spend.
Those, if you do a layover, there's a whole bunch of time on the ground that you have to include.
Exactly. Well, what do we think about today? Like, okay, I was back into it. Okay, the flight leaves at 11, which means we need to be there by 9, which means we need to leave the house by 8, which means we need to And I'm spending 3 hours before the flight leaves for this 2.5-hour flight. And that's on this side. On the other side.
So on the other side, then we're like, okay, we land at 3.
Yeah.
We go
wait for our bags.
Bags, that's going to be 4. Then we got to call a cab or an Uber, and that's going to take and then we got to travel to. Airports are always out in the out. You're not going to be right in the city because they're loud and noisy, and people don't want to live by them.
Well,
so it's always going to be a little bit of travel there.
This is what I mean by ground logistics.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the whole thing takes longer to get there than like you just said, than it does to actually get on the flight.
Okay. What I love about this is how predictable the pattern is. Like everything you've mentioned had the same movement of constraints. The telephone landline moved to getting the line, the struggle was getting the lines out. Then the struggle was the connection, always keeping the lines maintained. Then we went into cell phones, and the struggle was keeping a call on, without dropping. It was, do you have a cell phone tower near you where you can make a call? Do you have service? Like it's predictable that you're always going to have the next problem based on what's good has to build.
And you could make the case, I think, that the constraint is always moving to something a little more complex, a little more sophisticated than it was the first time, right?
Yeah.
Because we were having this conversation the other day about, is it really more sophisticated to facilitate getting people on an airplane than it is to make the airplane go faster? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of sophistication in a jet.
It's definitely a different constraint for sure.
It is a different. It comes down to people. It's becomes a people constraint because now we have to screen everybody. We have to make sure they don't have bombs in their shoes, and they have, it's all this at an individual level. We got complex security. We got single queue lines. We got single file lines. It's just that whole part of it is more complex than making the airplane go faster.
Okay.
As ironic as that sounds, right?
Right. I mean, it always comes down to the convenience of the people. What are people spending time on, and how can we shorten that?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, back in the 1900s when I started arbitrage,
Oh, back in the 1900s, really?
well, 2019 counts, right? I mean, actually, we go back to 2003 with
Yeah,
with
yeah.
eBay
But
business.
really, we were starting other arbitrage style businesses way back in the 1900s, well, the late 1900s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the late
Yeah.
1900s.
But yeah.
Well, let's talk
So,
about
what was arbitrage like that then?
back then. The constraint, well, like we already revealed
In
already,
2019? Mhm.
was finding things to sell. Okay, that was the challenge that everyone had.
Yeah.
And as a result, we paid a contractor at the time who was our niece.
Mhm.
And I paid a contractor up until very recently. I mean, within the last 12 months or so, 12 to 14 months, time by the hour
Mhm.
to go. If you followed any of my old Keepa courses, you've heard this before. Let's filter this list down to about 400 to 500.
Yeah, you used to always be controlling the number because a human only wants to look at 400 or 500 at a time. It's really hard to look at 10,000.
Well, it's hard to get your mind wrapped around. I'm going to be here how long,
Mhm.
right? And so I would filter that list down strategically to get stack the deck in our favor as much
To
as
get
we
the most
could.
that you could out of
To get the most that we could
those
on
hours.
that list. And so when I would give that list, we paid about 10 hours on average, but it would vary between 8 and 12, about 10 hours to have that list of 500 ASINs sourced. And out of that, what will we get?
Meaning find a source
Yes.
to buy the product in that listing.
Find a source, not only find the source, but then tell me about the ones that look like they're sellable for me.
Okay.
Right? Today we call that put it through the 3-step check.
Yeah.
Right? Back then we didn't have that. So
yeah.
we made it
Yeah.
since then. But anyway, that was 15 to 25 viable ASINs or testable ASINs or resellable ASINs that I would get from that list. And some weeks were a complete and total bust, by the way, right? And other weeks may have been slightly more fruitful, maybe as many as 40. But that was kind of my average. It was usually 15 to 25.
Yeah.
And that was what I paid. I paid those 10 hours at, $20 an hour, $15 an hour. I don't remember. It's probably both over the years to do that. Now, and that was just the accepted practice, right? Now, other people were doing that same thing, but they were using cheap labor, overseas labor, at $2, $3, $4 an hour as opposed to $15 or $20 an hour. But that was what you did.
Yeah, that was what you did. You paid somebody to do that. So, what solved that? What happened that you don't do that anymore?
Well, we got some automation tools, right? We got some ability to get automated matching. So I could give a tool a list of ASINs and have it go find the product in a store that I could shop from.
Mm-hmm.
When that happened, guess what? The constraint moved.
Okay, so now you can give it a whole bunch of ASINs and it just brings back a whole bunch of sources for those ASINs.
Yes.
And it's done within minutes?
Literally minutes.
Minutes.
Literally.
Yeah.
We give people a hard time for I literally died. But literally.
You didn't literally die, or you wouldn't be telling me about it.
But literally minutes. I mean minutes.
Where even the first starting tools like tactical arbitrage, when we first started matching, it took hours to run that data through.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So even that's starting to get better.
When I first tried out tactical arbitrage back in 2018, I had to let a scan run overnight, basically, and come check back on it in the morning. And if I was lucky, I had a match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you had to vet that match.
I also didn't know what I was doing back then.
Well, there's a lot of that.
Not trying to trash TA.
But I do know that a lot of people who are real power users in TA, they'd run it overnight, and so they'd have stuff to look at in the morning.
Yeah.
Plus, it takes up a whole bunch of it did at the time. I don't know about it now, but when it was first getting started, it took up a lot of resources. You couldn't be doing a whole lot else on your computer while it was running.
So today, those same 10 hours, in that same amount of time, by the way, which I don't have to pay anyone, I could pay someone to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like it's worth it at this point. I can produce thousands, literally thousands of viable ASINs for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it in a previous episode. One of your students who's done this in the tens of thousands, easily, and come up with thousands that are testable.
And this is why I say, sourcing is solved. Yeah, sourcing is solved. This is no longer
a minute's problem, not a day's problem.
Yeah, sourcing is solved, and the challenge. I know you're going to be shocked. But guess what? The constraint has moved.
Oh, wait. You remember that predictability?
Uh-huh.
The constraint does move, and it'll move again, right? So what's going on now?
So let me give you the example here. It's not an example. It's the actual use case that I'm up against. So when we've got the ability to have a tool that can go do the automated matching for me, I don't need to filter those ASINs down to 400 to 500 anymore.
Right.
Now I need more ASINs, right? I want more ASINs. The more ASINs,
you have more to choose from,
the better. So they can give it to the tool.
ASINs that are this is a difference between, there are all the ASINs are there.
Uh-huh.
What you're looking at is ASINs that have been matched to a source.
No. I'm my first constraint here.
How many ASINs can you throw in the tool to match?
No. How many ASINs can I extract from Keepa
Uh-huh.
to give to the tool to match?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just paint this picture.
All right.
Okay. The number one constraint is Keepa will only show you 5,000 ASINs at a time. Okay. You can export 5,000 at a time. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to page 2 of a list of around 10,000, and I can extract around 10,000 ASINs. There's no way to get to the 10,000.
Well, is it 5,000 or is it 10,000?
It's 5,000 per export.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you'd see 10,000, you can only export
That's
5,000
right.
at a time.
Right. I can't see ASIN 10,001.
And when we know that Keepa has 4 billion?
No, 1.4
1.4 billion. I was like, that doesn't sound like that. 1.4 billion or so, growing all the time.
Yeah.
ASINs that they are tracking. So the Amazon platform has at least that many, of course. 10,000 is not very much.
It's not very many. You're right. Then, okay, so let's say I can't get to ASIN 10,001 in Keepa.
Okay.
I just can't do it. So I do have to limit. I try and limit my results. Now I'm filtering down instead of to 4,500. I'm filtering down to around 10,000.
Okay.
So I can do the 10,000. Now, but there's also this thing called Keepa quota. I only have so much quota. I've been calling it, it's like mana. If any of you played video games with or you remember like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever.
Yeah. Or the Bible story.
Oh, yeah, okay. Mana goes away and you have to wait for it to regenerate. Same thing with Keepa quota. I can only export from Keepa, or extract, I should say, about 20,000 ASINs in a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if I want
people used to say, well, what's the quota about? What? And we used to say, you'll never close to that quota. Yeah, don't worry.
I actually did have some students who did. They were like, I ran out of quota and I didn't know what they were.
They were doing what we were
doing. Yeah.
Paring down like we were telling them to at the time.
Right. So if I can only export about 20,000 in a 24-hour period, only 20,000. Where's my next constraint?
Right. Well,
I know where it is. You got.
Where is your next constraint? Are you trying to feed me?
Yes.
Brian, would you like me to? Brian, where is your next constraint?
Then my next constraint becomes where I'm storing all of that data. So infrastructure.
Big is it?
Right? Infrastructure.
Yeah.
Where can I store all that? And right now, the constraints that I'm aware of in 3P Mercury are 100,000 leads. Well, in theory, I could get 100,000 leads in 5 days, people. 5 days. Okay?
Yeah.
When I say sourcing is solved, this is what
You'd want them to be matched up before you put them in there. But
yeah. You're okay. So right. So there's going to have some limit. I'm going to get some limits. Say I do get 20,000 extracted in a day, and I give that to my automated matching tools, and I come back. Well, here's the thing about that. A lot of times when I give a list of ASINs to an automated sourcing tool, I get more results than I gave it, and here's why.
Right. Because one ASIN can be available at several sources.
That's right, and that's the way it's counted in 3P as well. Yeah. Right. You are going to. Each one of those counts as one of towards your 100,000.
It's a separate match. Yeah. A separate line.
So you see how this is what the story I've been telling people is like the constraint moved from 400 to 500 ASINs a day to 5,000 ASINs on a page to 20,000 ASINs in a day to 100,000 leads being able
20,000 ASINs in
a day.
A day.
Yeah, 20,000 ASINs in a 24-hour period out of Keepa.
Okay.
To my database cap is 100,000.
Gotcha. Okay. You could fill it in 5 days.
I could fill it in 5 days, right? Okay, so King, if you're listening, we need more space. We're going to need
Space is not free. Okay.
We're going to need a bigger database.
We're going to need a bigger boat. Okay.
What? So
again, we're giving our age away with the movies. But
right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the impact of that? Meaning, we used to do this. We built a lot of things
Mhm.
based around sourcing that before it was solved, as you say.
Yeah.
That feels like old school.
It's
right?
totally old school. I mean, we used to go to
Spending our
it was
time
sort of
there is kind of an old school thing to do.
from a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Right? To a random, like, oh, I might find one, I might not find one. I mean, let's not forget, when you came to join me in the Amazon business, you spent 8 hours a day for 6 weeks, at least 8 hours a day for 6 weeks, sourcing aces.
I got a little bit addicted, which is good because I needed it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I was trying to get 8 a day.
8 a day.
They were matched up. Well, these would be matched up and press the three-step check in today's world. We didn't have a 3-step check then, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. They were like, oh, this looks good. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But we didn't really go deep on any of those things, just to be clear. I mean, this is how the 3-step check and the 4-week test was born, but
Right. And we still don't go deep.
No, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that was the approach then. That's the approach now. We just
put
the
some comparison between 8 ASINs a day that we could test compared to maybe 20, 30,000 ASINs a day that we could test once we build our database. Then we have to choose from. Then we choose our best ones.
Right.
Then we were choosing all of them because that's all we had.
Right. Well, old school sellers are still grinding on yesterday's problem, which is the treasure hunt, the random approach to it, right? And I think if we go back to when Jimmy Smith released the original replens course, which was also in 2019, late summer of 2019, if I remember right, how it must have felt. Oh, don't we live in an amazing time?
Yeah.
Right? Because before that, the approach was like go around to all the stores and clear all the clearance aisles that you can and the way you scaled that business was you rented U-Hauls and you traveled across the country, right?
Remember? You tell the story of meeting Jimmy Smith and your first Proven conference where he was talking about 800 ACEs that he was dealing with.
Yes.
And you thought that was amazing, an amazing thing.
Yes.
And now that's nothing.
100,000. Compare that 800 to 100,000, right? Yeah.
Things have changed,
it's
baby.
a lot different of a world now. But back then, it was revolutionary.
Yeah.
Right? And we're not talking about that long ago.
Yeah.
It's 5.5 years ago. Right? So this is what blows my mind about how, from the 61-day transatlantic trip to a 7-hour flight, from renting U-Haul and traveling across the country to I can match 20,000 ASINs today. Right? And then I need to filter that down, obviously. It's not like all 20,000 are going to be sellable.
I could throw out there another predictable thing.
Okay.
When we first got started, it wasn't that big a deal to get approved in brands and categories compared to what it is today. Then our constraint was figuring out where's the best place to start. Now our constraint is more in we start where we start. What's the best way to utilize what we have to begin with? Which is why I tell people who are starting out all the time, break even's a good deal in the beginning because you need those sales. But this constraint's moved.
Exactly. But so we always say, like, where we like to say lately, today, it's way easier to get started on Amazon than it was for us.
Yeah.
But the argument is always, well, but you weren't gated. Yeah, but I also couldn't get 20,000 possibilities in a day, right? Like today, so it's the treasure hunt mentality versus the systematic, right? We've got a systematic approach because the constraints have moved, right? We didn't have there was a systematic approach back then, but it was like, what size of U-Haul do I need to rent?
Yeah.
Which
so we're investing in a U-Haul or travel. Yeah. And now we're investing in infrastructure, things that make that part easier.
Today we're solving for today's constraints. Back then, it was a little different set. Yeah. So when I think about those 10 hours a week that we were paying for, and the yield was those 15 to 25, sellable ASINs.
Yeah.
The contractor was working hard. And I don't want to take anything away from anyone who was doing that part of the work, right? That was just the constraint that we had at the time.
Yeah.
But now I look at what we can generate and it's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing today. Right?
Well, again, I can't get off of the pattern recognition piece. Once we understand the constraint migration, then we start asking different questions and solving different problems. We invest our money and our time into different things.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yeah.
Completely different solutions required.
And if I'm being honest, it took me way longer than I would like to admit to realize that I was still optimizing my system for yesterday's bottleneck. You know what I mean?
And we all do, right? Because we finally get it working. We worked hard for that.
That's right.
But, we got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Got to keep moving. And same in any industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have a prediction for you. Prediction number 1, because I got 2 predictions for you today.
Okay, prediction number 1. We're listening, we're writing it down, and you are being recorded.
I'm going to build a mini premise first.
I started to say you're on tape. But
I'm on tape.
Talk about yesterday's problems. Okay, go ahead.
So technology's adoption is accelerating. There's no argument with that, right? We've gone from 50 plus years it took the telephone to get, mass adoption to ChatGPT getting 100 million users in 2 months.
2 months.
2 months. 100 million.
Compared to 50 years.
So
that's amazing.
Here's my prediction.
We live in amazing times.
We will say we live in an amazing time, more in our lifetime than ever in the history of the world.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's not only getting faster, it's getting more often. The change is happening more often because it's faster change. Yeah. So what does this mean for the people who are building arbitrage businesses today?
Well, I kind of already touched on it, but we need to stop investing in solving for yesterday's constraint, right? Mm-hmm. Which is this interesting...
Be aware of that, yeah.
It's an interesting paradigm, and there's this podcast I listen to called the AI Daily Brief. If there are any nerds out there and you're interested in AI, I love this podcast. It's really good. One of the concepts he came up with fairly recently, or not, he didn't come up with it, but that was being discussed was... We take the solution, the technology that we have today, and we apply it to rearview mirror problems. That's kind of the first evolution of how we,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's natural. What else do we have to work with?
Which is exactly what we've done with sourcing. That's why I say sourcing is solved. Now we need to solve for the future problem, right?
Okay.
So we build infrastructure for today's bottleneck, and we try to anticipate where the next bottleneck is going to be. Where is that next migration going to be?
Okay, so what are the practical steps we should take?
Well, first of all, let me just say we can't all be Elon Musk. The guys the people who think in the future.
Some of us can be Elon Musk.
Well, sure.
I mean, I'm sure one of us can be Elon Musk.
I just said not all of us. Not all of us are Elon Musk types, right?
Okay, gotcha.
But first of all, audit your time. Like, where are you spending the most time and the most money? Those would be great places to start to figure out what problems to solve for yourself. And that's why sourcing is the number one place that I didn't go there until recently, right? Until the last 18 months or so.
Yeah. But you were trying to solve sourcing many years.
I was still optimizing.
Getting better and better and better.
Right? Yeah. And
until it was pretty much solved.
I had an awesome Pony Express in the age of automobiles, right? Right?
Yeah.
I had the most efficient Pony Express, even though there were cars right out back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have to learn to drive a car. You got to spend time on it. What if it breaks down? I mean, horse can break down too, but.
So then next thing would be evaluate your infrastructure. And this was kind of the eye opener for me. Can it handle the scale? Because we were keeping our homegrown solution was combination of spreadsheets and databases.
Yeah.
And what happens when you try to manage 100,000 rows in a spreadsheet?
Well, it's not really the best tool.
It's not. Or even a database that big. I mean, we're talking about like Microsoft Access at the time.
Well, yeah, that kind of a database, no. I mean, you'd need a real database.
Exactly. You need an Oracle or a SQL, a Microsoft SQL or something like that, right? Today we've got Supabase and Notion and all these tools that are available to us that solve that problem, right? So build systematic testing frameworks too, right? Is one of the things why we're all about the testing framework, right? The sourcing and the testing frameworks. If you can solve for that, then you're going to work on solving for that. You're going to be in a much better place. And I'm not saying that our way is the only way at all. That is the way that we feel that works.
One of the few systems that I've seen actually for the actual testing. The testing is the part, I think that's the future. I think solving for the things that are changing in Amazon. Okay, let me just throw out there a couple of big things. I wrote articles on this recently, so it's on top of mind. A couple of big things that have happened that make these some of this stuff old school and we need to develop. Number one is they built 200 and some odd warehouses across the United States, which makes the availability of inventory a completely different animal. The logistics now matter.
Yes.
When you're testing an ASIN. It used to be, we throw it out there, it has the price it has, we can see what it is everywhere, and we can tell whether it's going to sell for that or not. Now it's completely different. I can't see what somebody in Georgia can see necessarily on the same ASIN as a price or the seller in the buy box. It's going to be two different things often.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
The second thing that has changed and made a major difference that I'm not seeing a lot of people react to is the in-stock head start program, where you put my inventory available for a customer to buy the minute I drop it off at UPS in a lot of cases, and the customer's not going to get it for 10 days. So now I've created, or longer, now we've created a problem that we have to solve that is not how much do I sell it for, but when do I sell it for my price. So I always say this when explaining this, Amazon, whether they meant to or not, has created a customer who is way more time sensitive than price sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
That same customer being price sensitive is going to go down to Walmart.
Exactly.
And get it.
That's right.
But the time sensitive customer who wants the delivery to their front door doesn't really care as much about the price as you think they do.
You are so right about that. And the Amazon platform in itself is a form of convenience.
So that time between when I drop it off at UPS and I become available within the Prime window that we've talked to a lot about, when we wrote this article, we called that the panic window, when people are slashing prices because they're not getting sales. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't expect a sale yet. I'm going to wait. And guess what? When I get in that within 48 hours, I'm often going to get the buy box from you, even though you're priced lower. And you're going to look at me. I'm going to sell it for $20. And you're going to go, I sold mine for $10. I could have just waited another week and sold it for $20. That's how that works. And if we're not solving that problem, that to me is the next problem that needs to be solved. It's not, we're working on making that an efficient solving to a problem. We've got
You're right.
the logistics down on that.
We've been brainstorming on that.
Yeah, and that's in our book.
Yeah.
We talk about that in our book. We talk about that in our coaching. This is what gives us the advantage. Understanding those two things is what gives us the advantage as the little guy.
That's right.
Right? And we're talking to the little guys.
I was talking about, most sellers in this space, they haven't caught up to this yet. And what you're talking about is even more so, right? Aside from the whole, how do I find more things to sell? How do I take advantage? How do I leverage?
How do I
leverage the marketplace?
And what's available for me to leverage?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
I have another prediction for you.
Oh,
You ready for this?
Another prediction.
Yes.
I forgot you said that. I got carried away. What's your second prediction, Brian? Again, you're being recorded.
Just for perspective, 5 years from now, we're going to look back on the manual sourcing process that you and I both did for so long, and that we paid our VAs to do for so long, like that 61-day Atlantic crossing.
Yeah.
We're going to go, Can you believe
they used to spend weeks and weeks trying to find a few things?
Yes.
Just to see if they could sell.
That's right.
Yeah. Just to find a source for them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's going to be like. Well, the opportunity right now is that most sellers have not caught up.
Yeah.
So the opportunity for us is to be caught up and leverage that period of time when we know what's going on. Right? And part of being in this community helps that because we have communication going on. We're not out there all waiting for that Pony Express to get to us.
That's right. It brings up a good point that came up in a coaching session recently. Maybe we should have started with this. Who knows? But I was saying to this client, I was like, sourcing is solved.
Yeah.
Like there's just sourcing is not a problem anymore.
Right.
And she was very astute and said,
an ABC 1, 2, 3.
She said, "Well, does that mean my business is going to go away because it's going to be taken over by the big guys?"
Yeah.
Right.
You mentioned that.
Yeah. And no, I don't think so anyway, because by the time everyone else catches up, you're going to be solving for the next problem. Or you will have solved the next problem.
This is part of the joy of being a small business.
Yeah.
The agility.
Oh,
that
you are.
have.
That's right. Yeah.
I can move now.
Yeah.
I can find something and put it into place, within a week, within a day sometimes, where the bigger, larger corporations are going to, that's a much more lumbering step to take.
Yeah.
They got to redo all of their, they got too many places where they have to make a change.
I will just say, though, to that point, which I think is a great point.
That's always been our advantage, I think.
Yes.
As a small cell.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because we always say, like, one of the advantages of being a small business is we can turn on a dime.
Yeah. What we have to do is get good at when we should turn and when we shouldn't.
Well, not only that, I mean, one of the disadvantages of being a small business is you can turn on a dime. And then you don't really have systems. You have reactions.
Right.
Right?
So we want to be careful of that.
Yeah. Like, we don't want to just be changing our stuff willy-nilly. It's like, why would I want to change my price on a product before I've discovered, whether I can get my price on it or not?
Yeah.
Through the prescribed process.
Yes.
Right? Why would I do that?
The system that we've developed, why would we move away from the system that we've developed for a reason? Yeah.
Unless we had ample evidence that it didn't work.
Yeah.
Which is not the case at all, right? We have ample evidence that it does work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Proof, in fact. We've got proof that it works.
Yes. And in our system, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you build your own system, a lot of people use our system. It's there for you to use. But yeah, you have that choice to make.
So just say, like, if you recognize the shift and build accordingly, right? Using tools that are out there today, you've got a window. And like you said, that window's not going to last forever. But that's okay, because you're going to already be working on the next thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is the way that people have evolved through this business is never going to stop.
Right. Never. So we've talked a lot.
Yes, we have. And excited to talk.
We can go on and on and on.
Uh-huh.
But I think we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
Brian, do you have a quote first?
I'll go ahead and give you a quote. Yes. You ready for this? It's a thinker.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who can't read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Okay, say that again. Those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
I think this actually puts the constraint migration concept into one single sentence, right?
Yeah.
You learn,
in other words, you figure out this constraint, you solve for that.
Yeah.
Now you got to pull yourself away from trying to solve something that's been solved.
Yeah.
And then learn
exactly
what the new restraint is and how to solve that.
Exactly the thing that I was doing for so long.
Yes.
Ask me how I know, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
The ones who can't let go of yesterday's skills are going to be when the game changes, they're going to be the ones that really struggle, right?
Yeah.
So learning that sourcing is solved and learning unlearning that grind mentality that, is the old way of sourcing and relearning infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's the job right now, right?
Okay. All right.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Buying
I'm buying that.
Okay.
Yeah. So stop worrying about what's already been taken care of.
Yeah.
Figure out what the next thing is and start taking care of that.
We'll solve for this. If it's not already solved for you, go ahead and solve it and then start thinking about the next thing, right?
Yeah.
Right now, I got a question for you.
Yes.
So when you're staring at your sourcing list, and you're wondering why it feels like you're working harder, but you're not really getting any further, what do?
Test more ASINs.
Test more ASINs. All right.
Let's go test more ASINs.
Test more. See you soon, everyone.
See you soon.
Hey, thanks for joining us for today's episode. But before I let you go, let's spend a couple minutes with my good friend Jeff Schick of jeffschick.com. For a few dollars a month, he can cover all of your Amazon policy and legal questions. Any issue that comes up, it's covered. It's a great service. My team uses it. So many leaders in our community use their services as well. And he's always got a great tip or strategy for us. What's on your mind today, Jeff?
So I want to talk about the Inform Act. It's resurfaced in the last couple weeks here, mainly just because Amazon is asking people to revalidate their accounts. It is a federal law. The Inform Act, I think it's the Inform Consumers Act, was passed by Congress, and it requires e-commerce marketplaces like Amazon and Walmart to validate the identities of the sellers that are selling on their platform. And so, it is just something that Amazon requires. Historically, we've usually seen it happen around April and May. I guess now we're seeing it more in November and December. But really, it's nothing to fear. I mean, most people are finding that, a lot of the sections are already checked off. Like they're going and just being asked to verify that everything is the same, and then they're good to go. Or it may have like a section it wants you to update, in which case you just, if you have to update your mailing address or something like that, you just do it, do the verification and just get it over with. Of course, if any of our clients run into any issues with it, we're happy to help. If it's on retainer, it doesn't cost anything for our team to assist with an Inform Act question. But it's, if you're trying to navigate it yourself, just make sure you're checking that page. It will show up on your account help dashboard and also in your settings page, letting you know if you're not in compliance with it. So it's just important to check that if you get the email from Amazon. So just to keep your account in good standing.
Yeah, very good. Amazon likes to know exactly who you are, that your address is right, that you have all the information correct in their system because it's a law. They have to. And you guys can help. jeffschick.com can help if you got any questions about this or any other Amazon policy or legal challenges that you run into. And you guys have a coupon code as well. I don't want to forget to mention that. If you go to jeffschick.com and use the coupon code MISTAKE, the word mistake, you're going to get your first month almost free. It's $1 to get started. And then just a few dollars a month after that, put his whole team to work for you on any of these issues that pop up. All right, that's good stuff, Jeff. Appreciate you doing this, and let's do it again next week. What do you say?
Sounds good. Absolutely.
See you then.
See you.